And 5 California Democrats and 2 Republicans met on the debate stage yet again in the primary for governor last night. Primary day is just less than a month away, and some voters have already started receiving ballots. At one point in the debate, candidates were asked to describe Governor Gavin Newsom in just one word.
Performative.
Bold.
Progressive.
Failed.
Steve, failure. You can't take my word.
All right. Game changing.
Incomplete.
Let's turn now to our political panel, Republican strategist Erin Maguire and Democratic strategist Kendra Barkoff Lamy. Great to see you both. Thank you so much. Okay, so this California race has everything, especially since it's a jungle primary, so the top two will advance. Erin, I want to start with you. Is there any chance that you'll see a Republican advance here?
I mean, there is definitely a likelihood. Steve Hilton has remained very much towards the top of the polling you've seen in California, and he has also done very well in these debates, differentiating himself. When asked about his closeness with President Trump, everybody knows Steve Hilton was a host on Fox News for a while and is definitely MAGA more aligned than anybody else on that stage. He said it's a good thing for people to have a relationship with the president because it means that we can advocate more for what California needs. And I'm not going to apologize that I have the support as an immigrant into this country of the president of the United States. I think that's a great message. So I do certainly think he's a very strong candidate. And with the chaos amongst the Democrats, there's an opportunity for him to be able to be one of the two in the jungle primary runoff.
Yeah, Kendra, I want to talk to you a little bit about this because, I mean, the whole country knows who Gavin Newsom is. This is such a critical state for so many reasons. I mean, the 5th largest economy in the world. Why is it that the Democrats are so splintered here? And why can't they kind of rally around one person?
Is it too late for Harris to get in the race? I'm asking for a friend from I'm a Californian myself.
Yes.
I know it is, unfortunately. You know, it is really interesting. I mean, we saw the fallout of what happened with Swalwell. He obviously should have gotten out of the race for obvious reasons. No one should be running for governor of any state if you're doing that kind of inappropriate work. I think, look, you're seeing a bunch of different people with all different views. It is going to be tough, but I think at least we don't have an oath keeper running in the race. I think that answer last night was super interesting and not great for the Republican side. But it is tough, I will say. They're not as great of options as one would hope for.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in this primary, but the debates have been just fascinating to watch, you know, both sides on the debate stage, let alone everything that we saw from it. I want to play a little bit of an interview that President Obama was on CBS's Late Show with Stephen Colbert last night. Here's what he had to say about New York City's mayor.
What I'm more interested in for Democrats is, do you know how to just talk to regular people like we're not in a college seminar, right? You know, can you talk plain English to folks about?
I think that's one of the powers that Mamdani has.
That's correct.
So, I mean, Kendra, this is interesting because this is what a lot of Democrats have been saying since the last election. What do you make of that coming from the former president?
I mean, he was the best communicator that the Democrats have had in a long time running for president, obviously. I mean, I love Joe Biden. He's my former boss. He also could communicate and effectively talk to people in a way that had empathy. But look, Democrats need to work on that. We do not have those types of candidates all the time that are able to communicate in a plain English way. And I think that's why you're looking for sometimes outside people to start running for higher office, not just the politicians. I think we'll talk about it potentially. Is Colbert running for president or not? Because I do think he has a way to connect with people in a way that people can understand. I think that's why Donald Trump ultimately won the election, is because he, during the campaign, talked about things in a way that people kind of resonated with them. So I think you are hopefully going to see more and more Democrats understanding that this is what is necessary to win.
Yeah, Erin, I'm curious your thoughts too.
It's about authenticity.
Yeah.
It's about coming across as not somebody who's rehearsed, and you're not talking about voters and constituents and sounding too robotic. You need to find a way for people to feel like, man, that's the person who's going to help me fix the problems here, right? You want to make your voter the champion, and you want to be the person that they feel like they see at the gas station and in the grocery store, but can go advocate for them. And when you start talking about constituents and voters and turnout and things like that, you lose the conversation. It's why sports are so great for politicians to kind of lean in on. It gives you personality. It gives you something to tie into the community about. And so it really is, maybe you are the most authentic nerd in the world. You can even lean into that and be a good communicator to voters.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether they can kind of pull that off. The former president also criticized the Department of Justice, saying the DOJ has targeted political adversaries of President Trump. Our Camilo Montoya Galvez had an exclusive interview with the acting attorney general, Todd Blanche. I want to play a little bit of that.
There's something extraordinarily rich about a Democrat suggesting that this administration is charging our political adversaries. I mean, first of all, we're not. Second of all, how about we think about what happened the past 4 years? It wasn't just President Trump that got indicted repeatedly in multiple district courts, in multiple jurisdictions, but it was also his entire administration, what was called into the grand jury. Members of his Secret Service detail had to testify in the grand jury. So I welcome criticism. Let's go. But let's, if you're sitting in a glass house, you ought not throw stones.
All right, so we just have about 20 seconds left, but is that fair?
I think that's completely fair. It was the Department of Justice that was weaponized against President Trump, against his campaign. You can go back to Carter Page and the FISA warrants to be weaponized against the president and his campaign and his allies, taps on Susie Wiles' phone. We've seen a lot of weaponization against government. So I do think Todd Blanche does make fair points there.
I would also argue that going after somebody for putting seashells on the seashore is not really a way to use the government in an effective way. And you're seeing DOJ lawyers drop like flies. Nobody wants to participate in this politicization of a department. They are all kind of leaving as a result of it.
All right, well, thank you both very much for being here. We really appreciate your time. To be continued. Too much news to get through. We'll invite you back very soon.